Hi there, it's Dr. Syra, and I got a request to do kind of a book review. So here we go. Here's the book, Archetypes by Carolyn Myss. And I just picked this book up a couple of days ago and I couldn't put it down. It was just like, wow, like I read it in a day. She has another book called Sacred Contracts, and that's a little bit harder to read. It's more dense, it's more involved. So for somebody who's just wanting to learn about archetypes and what that's all about, fantastic book. What are archetypes? So archetypes, the idea of archetypes was first introduced by Carl Jung, and he talked about these kind of collective patterns of behavior and values that are kind of shared across cultures. So for example, if I say the word teacher, right? Across cultures, people kind of have a sense of what somebody who is a teacher would be like, what some of their qualities would be like, what some of their values might be, what some of the standards of behavior might be for them. If I say the word father, putting your childhood aside and just thinking about, the ideal father, what would that be like? And what's really neat about archetypes is that they're kind of cross-cultural. But what Carolyn Myss has done in this book is she's actually looked at what are some of the emerging archetypes in today's society, specifically for women. And so she has 10 different archetypes that she talks about. So first she talks a little bit about, what are archetypes and does a little bit of a background. And then she describes the different 10. And I just found it so fascinating, not just for myself, well, mostly for myself, but also for the people in my life. Because once I start seeing these other people as having reasons for behaving the way that they do or prioritizing the things that they do, it just makes things a lot easier. So the 10 archetypes that she talks about are the advocate, the artist or creative, the athlete, the caregiver, the fashionista, that's a new one, the intellectual, the queen executive, the queen/executive, the rebel, the spiritual seeker, and the visionary. So she has this really cool little quiz you can do here, archetypes.com. Do you see it? Archetypes.com. So if you go on that website, you can do a really short quiz. I think it's like 6-7 questions, and you don't have to give your email address or anything. You just do the quiz, and it pops out for you your 3 major archetypes. And so I had kind of like a 45, or like a 2 major ones and then one kind of minor one. So mine were caregiver, intellectual, an advocate. An advocate was surprising for me because when I was reading the description, I was like, that's not really me. That's not really something I'm interested in. But one of the things that she talks about is when you start embracing your archetype, you can actually make sense of the things that might bother you about yourself. So one thing that I always feel so bothered about is why do I care so much about things that I can't do anything about, right? Like the environment and pollution, or kids that are being abused, or I care so much about it, but really what can one person do? And that's kind of the challenge of the advocate, is that you have these deep concerns about the world, but and so honoring that and finding ways that you can do things about that. And so it was just really eye-opening for me. Same with the caregiver role. I know that's my role, and I've always been oh, but if I own it, and then I could actually see the gifts in it. And for me, the caregiver in particular was around the teacher. So the person who likes to share knowledge and show their care in helping other people through knowledge. And so obviously I make these videos, and so it made a lot of sense. So anyway, this is my kind of synopsis of the book. If you're more interested, feel free to go out and get it. I don't get anything for that. I just think it's a great book, and somebody had asked me to kind of do a review. And yeah, it's also, so after I did this, I actually invited my husband to do the test as well, and he did it, and I'm telling my friends about it. So just something fun to do to kind of understand why you do the things you do and why you behave the way you do. So that's it. I hope that helped for the person who wanted me to make the video, and hopefully it helps some other people too. Take care. Bye.